Now we turn to pension funds. They are leaping back, it turns out, into hedge funds, according to today's Wall Street Journal. So, too much risk if you're a retiree out there, or maybe a smart investment plan? Let's bring David Crane in, who's a former economic advisor to Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. So the story, the money investing section of the Journal says the pension funds are leaping back into hedge funds. What do you make of that? I guess they need to make up for some losses over the past few years. Is this the way to do it?
Well, yeah, they do have to earn their investment return assumption, which is very high, 7.75% to 8% per annum. So they have to invest in things that will come close to generating that. Hedge funds in and of themselves are not necessarily more or riskier than other investments if they're properly hedged and structured.
Well, that's the thing, because a lot of times you have this knee-jerk reaction. Oh, they're risking my money. They're throwing it away into a hedge fund. You know, I was looking at the California numbers, and even CalPERS has come back and made a nice. I mean, was it 18.5% over the first 3 quarters of its fiscal year? So it's made a nice comeback. I don't know how much of that is because of hedge funds, but maybe these pension funds are getting back on track the way they invest their money.
Well, let me make 2 comments. First of all, it's not that the retirees have to worry about the investment. It's the taxpayers, because the taxpayers underwrite the retirement benefits. So the people that should be wondering about pension funds and how they invest their money are taxpayers. Secondly, yeah, all pension funds have done better over the last 2 years, but they'll need to earn roughly 20% per annum just for the next 5 years, roughly the same rate that they're earning at, just to get back to even.
Well, CalPERS, for example, lost a total of 29% in their fiscal years 08 and 09. So we've been talking all week long about entitlement programs and what have you, but for people planning for retirement, the idea that these pensions are going to be there or not, is that a serious question we should be looking at? And, you know, if you were thinking about retiring 10, 15 years down the line, would you be confident that the money will be there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about people who don't have defined benefit plans, then it's a different question for those that have defined benefit plans. If you're an employee of the state of California, your retirement money will be there no matter what. Yeah. Because the state is obligated to make that payment no matter how well or how poorly the pension funds have done. So those employees can feel secure. People without those sorts of plans, of course, feel less secure.
Right, but what about the states who are funding those plans? State governments and the pressure that they're under. What's being done, do you think, to tackle that problem? Are we at least taking the proper steps right now, even if the problem is still there, broadly speaking?
Not yet. Not yet. There are some leaders who are really looking to take the right steps. You may have seen the report from the Treasurer of Rhode Island recently where she dug down and really exposed how you have to address this problem. The problem is caused by not funding the promises when they're made, and the pension funds get away with doing that because they assume these super high investment return assumptions and therefore put away too little money. So the way to solve it is to make sure you fund the promise when it's made at the right level. And these pension funds have been assuming rates of returns that are like 30% higher than investment markets historically return.
How are they doing out there?
That's the way to address it. Now,
in California, I was going to say, how are they doing out there in California, which have been the kind of the poster child for if it can go wrong, it will go wrong after over the last however many years. How are they doing now out there in California under, new leadership, Jerry Brown?
Well, they're still not looking to address the pension problem the way it really needs to be addressed. I mean, California is not as bad off as a number of other states who are in much worse pension positions than California is. The state legislature and the governor are sort of still dancing around this problem. I think they have to take a cue from people like the Treasurer of Rhode Island, who has mapped out a serious plan for how to address this problem while maintaining retirement security for government employees. I mean, you have to remember, current and future government employees are also victims of this underfunding. If they want to see their own compensation rise in the future or jobs be there, as well as citizens getting the services they need, and have their taxes go to their current services, they have to reform these pension plans the way, for example, that Treasurer suggests.
They have the ultimate incentive when you think about it. David, it's always good to have you on the show. David Crane from out in California. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you.